First, I would like to thank the Lord for providing this place, however He did it, mysteriously. I have two comments and on two different things, and a question on another thing, but I'll make it all within 5 minutes. The first thing was about, the President Trump. I have heard this one person I've been witnessing over the years. And
I'm sorry, but is it a Bible-related question?
kind of, yeah, like the door closed, So I said to this one person, I said, people don't believe heaven's door is closed because it's all spiritual. They can't see. But now, as if God gave us some parables that employees have been shut out, and just had no notice. And then that's the last day of their employment, and the owner just shut them out. And the immigration, the foreigners were protesting, and the local people, the citizens of the country, was like rebelling against the government, siding with the foreigners. And the president had no right to close the door, but heaven's door is shut. And here, these are parables that their eyes can see. They are still denying. They're protesting.
Well, the shutting of an employer's doors to employees is that's not what the Bible's saying. The Bible's saying
a parable.
That it's the end of salvation. Mm-hmm. Now, what we can see with all these things that are going on in the world is the division in politics, division in the sports world, division in entertainment, division amongst race, division in every area. If there was ever any soothing of these kinds of situations in the past, maybe glossed over, well, God is the one who's sort of taking off the bandage and exposing the wound once again, so that there is these racial tensions and political tensions and every other kind of tension, because that's the character of Judgment Day. Satan's house, which is the whole world, has been divided. And when the kingdom of Babylon was divided and given to the Medes and the Persians, well, the name Persians means to divide. And Christ is like the king of the dividers, who made me a divider and a judge over you. He's dividing the kingdom of Satan, which is showing just how sinful a kingdom it is and dark a kingdom it is, and it's bringing humiliation to the whole world. That's all. When we hear all these reports from the news, we have to be careful not to take sides, no matter what the issue. We don't want to take sides. What we'll find is one side wins for a few weeks, the other side wins for a few weeks. And there is no winner ultimately, because the Bible's picture is they're all going to be lying on the ground as dead men. And so we have to be careful that we don't fall into a snare, and this would be part of our test for this time period.
But it's like the bosses have the right to shut the door. God has the right to shut the door. But anyway, the other comment I wanted to make is about the apostles, which is one of the studies this morning. If you look at 9:15 of Acts.
1 Corinthians.
No, Acts 9:15.
Oh, Acts
9:15.
Acts 9 verse 15 says, "But the Lord said unto him, Go thy way, for he is a chosen vessel unto me, to bear my name before the Gentiles and kings and the children of Israel."
Okay. Now, there's a church, okay, that's called apostles. They think they're all apostles. Now, I cannot definitely say you're an apostle. You can't say I'm an apostle. I remember Brother Camping says, we know ourselves that our spirit, God's spirit witnesses with our spirit that we're children of God, but the next person we don't know. But one time I was like wondering, what made Paul's claim legitimate, or kosher? And then I saw Ananias, and God gave Ananias another witness, like the two, Paul and Ananias, because Paul could be self-deceiving, just like these apostles' church. The church called apostles of the latter, whatever, saints or something. I believe they are self-deceiving. Of course, they are not going to believe what we believe, you know. So, but I realized Paul was legitimate because God gave us Ananias, who witnessed also, and that's my second comment.
Well,
And
excuse me. Yeah, I'll comment on that. And we'll go to the next
Okay.
person.
The next
But,
is okay.
Excuse me. We know the Apostle Paul is an apostle because when we search the Bible, like Robert was pointing out some verses, it testifies to that.
Right.
And there's an interesting parallelism between the apostles and the tribes of Israel. When we look at the tribes of Israel, there was 12 tribes,
Yes.
but in actuality, 13 tribes. When we look at the apostles, there was 12 apostles, but then Paul insists that he also was 13 apostles. And
But he says he was
that
born out of due
relates
time.
that relates to the history for the world. And God even speaks of the bounds of their habitation will be according to the tribes of the children of Israel in Deuteronomy. I think it's Deuteronomy 1. Deuteronomy chapter 1. Is it Deuteronomy 1? Or is it Deuteronomy 32? Well, it might be Deuteronomy 32. Deuteronomy 32, verse 8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. And 12 tribes, and this is speaking of dividing the nations their inheritance, and their inheritance is life in this world. 12 tribes, but actually 13. The inheritance to the nations for time allotted to live in their short-term inheritance of this world, 12,000 years is what it should have been for the fullness of time, but in actuality 13,000 years. And when we look to the Bible, we find that the history that is laid out is 11,000 years for the Old Testament up until the cross, and then when we read of Satan being bound at the cross, the Bible says he's bound for 1,000 years. And so we would think that Satan would be loosed after 12,000 years of history, but because that 1,000 period of his binding was figurative, it was 1,955 years, it was almost 2,000. It turns out he was loose at the 13,000th year of Earth's history. And yet, on one hand, the Bible presents a picture of 12,000, yet it's actually 13. It's the same way with the tribes of Israel and the apostles, who would just be following that kind of pattern that God established. But thank you.
Okay. How
I'm
about
sorry.